Now, it is my pleasure and great honor to give the first of two awards this evening in recognition of distinguished contribution to the work that we are all engaged in. And I'm really pleased that I'm the guy who gets to do this one. The person that I'm going to name is the first of our awards. The only way I can describe the efforts is sheer, dogged determination. We are here tonight simply because this person refused to give in, and when all else failed, carried the burden all alone and just forged on. At times when, quite frankly, I think a number of us thought, well, you know, things come, things go, organizations come, organizations go. This was not going to die, and we're here because of that. I don't want to go through all the other accomplishments. I think that's the most important. I think when I give you the name, you'll understand what I mean. Christine, you're it. And notice, it's not something that we ran off on the printer. Using the software that says, make a greeting card, make an award announcement, whatever. No, here. No. You can't run away. You have to say a couple words, and then Neil's going to give the second award.
Well, this is an enormous surprise. I've been involved with Plain for a number of years, thanks to Cheryl, who at one point in Denver said, I don't want to do this anymore. And this conference is quite exceptional. There's no question about it. I've been teary-eyed several times during the conference. The first when the Premier of New South Wales made his commitment to the people in the conference. That was a highly significant moment in the history of Plain Language Association International. And then I loved the four men who started us off yesterday on the stage, and there was just a strength and a vitality there. And then this morning there were four women, and strong, wonderful women talking about legislation that had been sought after and that people were working through a very long process to achieve. I think in this room there are so many wonderful friends and companions that we have all made over the years, and I'm deeply grateful for being able to be part of this. I call it a movement too. I thank you.
And in closing tonight, it's my privilege to announce the second award. And we had quite a deal of trouble in arriving at a decision on this, and the decision, by the way, was discussed by the entire Plain board for these awards. And since we were in Australia, we wanted to recognise somebody who'd made a significant contribution in this country. And like Bill, we could go through the list of achievements. Many of them here, in this case, include landmark reports, such as that by the Victorian Law Reform Commission, the task force directing the rewriting of Australian corporations law, consulting work to many of Australia's finest legal firms, books, combined over 100 monographs, articles and books, and combined, and this figure is significant, over 70 years of experience. Books such as Writing in Plain English, Modern Legal Drafting, The Elements of Drafting. You may be beginning to work out that we are not talking about one achievement, but in fact a joint achievement. And in the end, we decided to make a joint award for two people who have done more than any others in this country to help reform, particularly legal language. Two people who were the co-founders of the Law Foundation Centre for Plain Legal Language at the University of Sydney. But for me, two people who demonstrated a passion and a commitment that was no better exemplified than only 2 days ago, when one of them, who was here to present, took very ill to the point where he needed to be taken to a doctor, and came back that afternoon and gave his presentation. And that is the kind of commitment, the kind of heart that certainly inspired me to be part of this movement. I think you've lost a debate on that one, Bill. And it's my great pleasure to be able to recognise the second of our Plain 2009 awards for an outstanding contribution to plain language internationally, which is what is written on the back of these wonderful trays. A joint award to both Robert Eagleson and Peter Butt.
Well, this is, I don't know. You know, as a lawyer working in a very dull area, as Mr. Kirby very kindly said, I found this move to plain English a natural thing. That, as Michael said, you get to a stage where you wonder, this is natural, what's the problem? Why do people protest against using plain English, in my case, in law? What's the issue? In fact, Michael won't remember, but he wrote a letter to me once. He just published an article, I think, on international human rights, which is a passion of his, many of ours, but especially his. And he said trying to get the language of law changed is like trying to change the resistance to international human norms, human rights. What is the problem? Why do people find it so hard? But in my case, I have to say that I'm the junior member of this partnership. I would not be here at all were it not for Robert. He subverted me many years ago, and he's a dear friend and colleague, and it's true, I owe it all to Robert. Thank you very much indeed.